Hi, I'm Larry Gates, host of the B2B Growth Club. I'm here with Steve Johnson, one of our masterclass presenters on product marketing. Steve, people have product marketing because they want to pick great products to build their future on. How do you make sure that they're actually giving you a great product idea to build your future on?
Well, you know, not every idea can be a success.
That's right.
Right? I mean, ideas are all over the place, and the real trick is not the ideas, but the execution. The key is to have some approach to validation. So let me tell you a story. I was hired in a company, and I was, younger. Anyway, I was hired in a company to manage this new product they were building. So they were already in place. I mean, they had spent $1 million in programming. They'd spent $500,000 in documentation and other non-programming things. And they hired me and said, we're getting ready to launch this. We'd like you to run the launch from a product marketing standpoint. And I said, okay, fine. And the first thing I did is I went and talked to some people. I talked to the developers who actually did not enjoy working on the product. I talked to the sales team and they said, we haven't found anybody who finds this interesting. And I said, but wait, you've got 12 people signed up for the preview program. And they said, oh yeah, they're doing that as a favor to me, right? I couldn't find anybody in the company who was excited about this product, which disturbed me. So I went and called on those 12 preview customers. Every one of them said they had no intention of putting it into production. They were doing it as a favor to their sales guy. So I was in a really tricky place. I mean, this is the only product I have. I am managing one product. The following week,
It's a dog.
And it's a dog. And it turns out it was an acquisition. And so the following week, I sat down with the leadership and I said, I'm perfectly willing to keep going. But I think you've got a dog here and I think we ought to shoot it. And here's my evidence. I've been talking to the market and I told them my conversation with each of those 12 clients. And I looked up and the president had his head on the desk and he was just kind of, shaking his head and he's
not wanting to hear that.
This is what I feared.
Yeah.
But I was being assured by other people that all was going to work out in the end. But no, I can't find any. I shared with him and I couldn't find any evidence that this was a good idea, not from this company. And I was still willing, to work here. I was still willing to take this idea forward. But honestly, it's going to need a new sales team. It's going to need a lot of sales engineering. It's going to need professional services. These aren't the skills that we already have in place. So you have to tell me, is this a strategic initiative? And he went, no, I was thinking it was a quick hit in revenue. And it wasn't gonna be. So we used market evidence to debunk a lot of the internal belief about this product that, it's gonna be a big hit, it's gonna be easy, and it turns out it wasn't. So we shot it. And the good news was, we didn't shoot me, right?
Yeah.
They said, well, here's the first product person who came in with market facts instead of opinions.
Yeah, that evidence-based piece that you brought to the table is so critical. There's so many companies, I think, that, and you've probably seen this in your coaching and consulting, so many companies that are going down a product path only because they've invested so much in it already.
Yeah.
They have all this sunk cost and they're like, they don't want to pull the trigger or pull the plug on something they put millions into. But if you ask them this question, would you invest in that product today if you hadn't invested in it yesterday? The likelihood of them saying they would is pretty low. And yet they still continue to do so. Wow. And in large part because they don't have the evidence that you were talking about.
Indeed.
So that is a really good reason to have a product marketing function that is reality-based. If you're not close to the customer, close to the market, you're going to miss the evidence that you need to know whether your product is a dog or a success.
Indeed.